My journey to becoming a medical medium was unique. Most medical mediums never have any medical training. In my early teens in Southern California, I started out as a candy striper, which are volunteers at local hospitals. I loved helping out and working in a healing environment. Shortly after, because the staff loved my work, the hospital hired me as an admitting clerk. Not long after, I entered nursing school and got my license as a certified nurse assistant. I worked long hours on many trauma unit floors, and I would float to the units where they needed me most. Meanwhile, I took continuing education courses to become a registered nurse. I was often sidetracked by the entertainment world. A close friend had sent me to my first hospital television show called Strong Medicine. I was doing what I normally do at the hospital, saying a few words such as, "Give me 5 cc's of Valium, stat, and code blue." I thought this was cool, and then I got an acting agent, and I was totally hooked. I was setting up the IVs on set and setting up all the masks, gowns, and gloves, and I was also often in scenes on camera. I still worked in the hospital, but after several more jobs, I became known in Hollywood as the go-to expert for on-call nursing and as an on-camera actress and medical advisor. I must have advised over 40 films, television shows, and commercials. I was featured in Emmy magazine for my work on TV shows such as Brothers and Sisters with Sally Field and Rob Lowe, All My Children, Scrubs, General Hospital, and The Young and the Restless. I worked on several seasons of Grey's Anatomy, as well as movies like My Sister's Keeper with Cameron Diaz. My last show was HBO's Getting On, where I had just been hired. I was so excited when Laurie Metcalf, the lead actress, came to visit my grandma in the nursing home where she was living at the time. The show was based on a home for elders, and it had a comic English brightness to it. Laurie wanted to see how the senior home was set up and get a feel for the setting. My grandma Bernice was delighted to have a visitor, even though she didn't know who Laurie was. They connected immediately and had a beautiful visit with each other. At this time in my life, I was ready to take a leave of absence from the hospital to work on the show. For a time, this became my normal, to take a leave of absence from the hospital to work on a TV show or film, and then come back when I was finished. I didn't want to leave working in the hospital totally because I loved helping people in real life. Working in the hospital, though, started to take its toll. The trauma floor I worked on had felt colder and harder, and many people were passing away at this time. A lot of spiritual paranormal happenings were present on that floor. This was a critical care unit, and you needed to be tough. I will never forget the smell of death and the sadness. The beautiful actress, Elizabeth Taylor, and the actor Michael Clark Duncan of Green Mile movie fame passed on the floor while I was working there. At this time, my hospital supervisor told us that we were short on staff and we would have to take the bodies to the morgue on our own. I looked at my nurse colleague and she was so upset. The duty of bagging dead bodies was nothing new to me. But going down to the morgue into the cold cement room and pushing this huge bed into a slot was hard work, both physically and emotionally. We knew we were short-handed, so we had to do what needed to be done. My life consisted of the Hollywood realities of code blues, on set, and then the difficult work in the hospital. I felt like I was being pulled in many directions at once. But God had the most unbelievable plan for me I could ever imagine. 2 months later, I ended up as a patient back in the same hospital in which I worked.